Week 5 of the fantasy baseball season, and here's a few pitchers I look to trade and sell this week. The first guy, Pablo Lopez of the Miami Marlins. I mentioned him a few weeks ago as a guy to sell, and ever since then, his numbers have been even better, and he's putting up bigger games as well. Here's Lopez. So on the season, 36 innings, 4-1 record, 24 hits, 4 earned runs, 8 walks, 35 strikeouts, 3 quality starts, a 1 ERA, and a 0.84 whip. So what a season it's been. No doubt about it here for Lopez in the early going this year. But right now, he hasn't versed some of the tougher teams in this NL East. And he's going to have to verse the Mets soon. He's going to have to verse Philly more and the Atlanta Braves. And right now, he's pitching good, no doubt about it. And you could get a boatload for Lopez right now. Last season, he was pretty solid, like I mentioned as well. But he's pitching way over his head. And there's no way in this division that his ERA is going to stay a 1. So right now, while he's pitching great baseball, you could possibly get a good starter and a good hitter for him in a deal with Lopez. That's how good he's been so far this season. Ranked in the top 10 in fantasy baseball. April 27th at Washington, 6 innings, got the win. 3 hits, a walk, 6 Ks, a quality start. May 2nd versus Arizona, he did have a down game. 4 2/3, got the loss. 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 7 Ks. And then May 7th at San Diego, a great bounce-back ball game. 8 innings, got the win. 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks, and a quality start. So his next outing is May 13th versus a pretty decent Milwaukee Brewer offense. So right now, while he's riding high, the matchups have been pretty easy for the most part this season here for Lopez. Besides that San Diego offense, obviously, and he pitched early in the season versus St. Louis. So right now, he's pitching great baseball, but he hasn't versed the tougher teams in the NL East. And right now, I would trade him because you could get a lot for him. And this will probably be the most where his value's at peak, especially with the 1 ERA. The next guy, Cortez of the New York Yankees. So Cortez this season, he's been one of the best pickups in fantasy baseball so far here in the early going. On the season, 32 innings, but only a 1-1 record. 20 hits given up, 5 earned runs, 11 walks, 42 strikeouts, 2 quality starts, a 1.41 ERA, and a 0.97 whip. So Cortez, he don't go that deep into ball games for the most part here, but his latest outing he did, and he's been a good find for this Yankee team, no doubt about it, is the Southpaw Cortez. But he's another guy that we don't know how deep into the season he could go before he hits the wall, because his career high, I believe, was last season in innings pitched with 93, which is obviously nothing. A usual starter, if he's healthy the whole season, for 33 to 35 starts, he goes about 150 to 200 innings. So we'll see if the workload doesn't bother Cortez as the season goes on. But like I mentioned, a 1.41 ERA ain't going to hold up, especially in the AL East. And as the weather's going to get warmer, we're going to see these hitters start getting going and starting to hit home runs, because the shortened spring training, I think, believe it or not, helped the pitchers in at least getting outs, not maybe going deep into ball games, but getting quality outs, and the hitters are a little bit behind, but that's going to pan out and straighten out, I think, by June here. So the last few outings here for Cortez, May 4th at Toronto, 4 innings, got the loss, 4 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 3 Ks, and then a great bounce-back ball game, May 9th versus the Rangers, 7 1/3, no decision though. 1 hit, no runs, 4 walks, and 11 Ks with the quality starts. So Cortez, he's been pretty good with the strikeouts this season as well. But with a lot of factors against him, a tough division, with hitters that are going to start to get going all around the league here. And with him just not pitching a lot of innings in his career, it's a perfect recipe to sell him high here, because when it's all said and done this season, there's no way Cortez is going to be at this level and this good of a pitcher. The only things I think that will be in his favor is wins, because he's got a great lineup behind him over there in New York. But there's no way he's going to last this good the whole season, and he's a guy I would sell and trade this week. The next guy's another New Yorker, but on the New York Mets, Edwin Diaz. So Diaz, so far this season, he's looked very good like he did 3-4 years ago when he had 57 saves for the Seattle Mariners. On the season here for Diaz, 13 innings, 1-0 record, 7 saves, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 5 walks, 22 strikeouts, 1 blown save under his belt, a 1.38 ERA, and an 0.85 whip. So I know it's a contract season here for Diaz, but he's looked real good coming into ball games and pitching quick 1-2-3 innings, which usually he gets in trouble. And he had a little hiccup early in the season where he blew a save versus the Arizona Diamondbacks, but the Mets won that ball game anyway. But right now, the Mets, they're pulling out a lot of close games. Diaz is pitching good, but things could easily go the other way as well here. I know they were off to a great start and he's pitching well, but we've seen it over the years with Diaz. He gets tight in some ball games, and he's prone to blowing saves. So right now, where he's been almost pitcher perfect is Diaz. He's a perfect closer to sell high, because I don't think the Mets will keep this up, winning all these close games. And I don't think Diaz is that great of a closer either. He relies a lot on that fastball, and teams, they're just going to have to adjust and get going on it. So right now, with all the factors in his favor and the Mets' favor right now, things easily could go the other way, the way the games have been going and the closeness of them. And I would sell them high. And I'm never big on closers anyway in fantasy baseball. They're a dime a dozen. So right now, if you could trade Diaz for a decent everyday hitter or a decent starting pitcher, this is a perfect time to do it, where I think this will be the peak of his value as well. The next guy is Chad Kuhl of the Colorado Rockies. So I've mentioned Kuhl as a pickup over the last few weeks, but he's also a guy you could pick up and flip for a more consistent and a player with a better track record. But so far this season, what a year it's been for Kuhl. 29 2/3, 3 wins, no losses, 16 hits, 6 earned runs, 9 walks, 22 strikeouts, 4 quality starts, a 1.82 ERA and a 0.84 whip. So right here, no doubt, great stats, but it's not going to last. It's only 30 innings pitched. He pitches in Coors Field, and the Rockies, they're known as well as a first-half team before they fizzle out a lot over the last few seasons where they got off to good starts. So the last few games here for Kuhl, April 30th versus Cincinnati, 7 1/3, got the win in that ball game. 5 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, a quality start. MA6 at Arizona, 6 innings, no decision, 3 hits, a run, 2 walks, 5 Ks. So right here, he's in a tough division. Is Kuhl with San Diego, the Dodgers, and the Giants. And he pitches today at the Giants. And we'll see if he could go out there and have another great outing versus San Francisco Giant team. That's a middle-of-the-pack type of offense so far this season. So Kuhl, he's a guy I said pick up. But if you could flip him for a starter that's struggling, but, could turn things around, this would be the time to do it, because I just don't buy it, him keeping up great numbers the whole season, where he hasn't done it, first of all, in his career. Second of all, he's in a tough division. And third of all, and possibly the most important, half his starts are going to be in Coors Field, which obviously doesn't bode well for pitchers. So right now, if you could trade Kuhl and get something good for him, this is the time to do it before he reverts back to old ways, most likely. And the fifth and final pitcher I look to sell and trade this week's Merrill Kelly of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So Kelly on one of the worst teams in all of Major League Baseball, even though the Diamondbacks so far have gotten off to a pretty decent start according to their standards after a horrible season last year. So on the season here for Kelly, 37 innings, 3-1 record, 29 hits, 5 runs, 9 walks, 34 Ks, 4 quality starts, a 1.22 ERA and a 1.03 whip. So another guy who's in a tough division, obviously, in the NL West. And it's just not going to hold up, in my opinion, here with these great numbers and these great outings. April 25th versus the Dodgers, 6 innings, got the loss. 7 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks, a quality start. April 30th at the Cardinals, 7 innings, got the win. 2 hits, 4 Ks. MA6 versus the Rockies, 8 2/3. He almost went the distance in that one. Got the win, 7 hits, a run, 2 walks, 8 Ks, the quality starts. At Kelly, he's pretty much, for him to get a win, he's going to have to go pitch 7-8 innings, 1 or 2 run ball, and that's exactly what it's been, and that's not going to be sustainable, I think, here for Kelly, especially like I mentioned with Kuhl in a tough division with the Giants, Padres, and obviously the Dodgers with that all-star lineup over there. So right now, well, he's off to a monster start where he's pitching great baseball. He's a perfect sell-high candidate as well, and I think you could get a great hitter for him. Because this guy, I'll give him this, he does go deep into games. He is pitching well. He's already got the 4 quality starts under his belt. And today he's got a pretty decent matchup as well versus the Marlins, where he could even bump his value up even more of selling him off high. So that's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade here for Week 5 of the fantasy baseball season.